Food has always been a necessity throughout the ages, though cuisines have evolved. With the collapse of empires, people were forced to adapt to changes, and this often dictated what they would eat. In ancient times, when people were just trying to survive, people would eat just about anything, no matter how strange or gross. Some dishes were eaten for their exotic nature, rareness, or medicinal value. Some of the strange dishes from the past have made their way to the present time. Some dishes have changed a bit from their origins, improving somewhat from their barbaric roots, while others are the same today as they were thousands of years ago. Here are some of the bizarre ancient dishes that can still be found today. Number 1. Spartan black broth. In the times of ancient Greece, Sparta was known for their incredible warriors and terrible food, and the Spartan black broth, or melassomas, was certainly one of those foods. If you weren't a Spartan, you didn't get a portion of this black broth that contained pork and pig blood. The recipe for the dish was never written down, but the main ingredients are estimated. Culinary experts think it was prepared with pork blood, vinegar, onion, and bay leaf. Many cultures add pig's blood to certain recipes even today, perhaps inspired by the ancient Spartans. British black pudding is eaten today in the United Kingdom and Ireland, which is made from pork or beef blood, pork fat, and oats. This is often part of a fry-up, which is served for breakfast and known for being a decent hangover cure. There is also a European blood sausage that uses blood as an ingredient. Asian cultures have also incorporated pork or cow blood into their cuisine. A modern version of black broth was taken up in the Philippines, known as Filipino chocolate meat, or dinuguan. It got its name because when the pork blood is cooked, it looks a lot like a chocolate sauce. Number 2. Dormouse. Dormouse is a nocturnal rodent that can be found in Asia, Europe, and Africa. They're about the size of a rat and considered a pest to farmers, eating crops and making it impossible for people to harvest crops. Despite being considered a problem for farmers, in ancient Rome, dormouse was a treat and many households ate it. While it's not as popular today, there are still a few cultures that eat it. In Croatia and Slovenia, there's a traditional dish made from dormouse. Both countries even have an important event annually, where they do a massive trapping of the dormouse. Not only do they consider it a delicious meal, but it also gets rid of the pesky rodents that would otherwise cause havoc to any farmer. Even today, the island of Hvar in Croatia grills the dormouse over an open flame and serves it on bread. Number 3. Century eggs. This is a tale of the century egg, which isn't actually a century old, but it's still a curious food and looks like something that's been fermenting for a century. 500 years ago, a Chinese farmer found some duck eggs that had been sitting in mud for quite some time. The mud contained slate lime, also known as calcium hydroxide. When the farmer cracked an egg open, it had the consistency of a hard-boiled egg, but the egg white had turned into a translucent black matter. He took his chances and took a bite, only to find out that it was quite a lovely taste. The flavor was savory that had an undertone of soy sauce and came with a meaty texture. The farmer was delighted and looked to find a way to replicate the process. He used the same mud and made sure the eggs were sealed, but still had air to breathe. He then left them for a few months. It was a success, and this same process is still used today with more modern equipment. Century eggs are a modern-day delicacy in places like China and Southeast Asia today, with dishes like century egg salad or added into congee soup. Number 4. Bird's nest soup. High in the cliffs somewhere in China, there was the discovery of a bird's nest that you could eat. It was a dangerous feat to obtain these valuable nests, taken right out from under the swiftlet, a small bird that creates a sticky substance to make their nests. The bird's spit is what forms the nest, and when exposed to the air, it becomes hard. Once the nests have been collected, they are soaked and cleaned. This softens them up and gets rid of anything attached, like feathers. The nests are then put into a broth that could be chicken or a clear soup. They eventually become tender and translucent. This delicacy, which is very expensive due to the risk of harvesting them, has long been used in Chinese medicine. It is believed to have many health benefits, as it aids in digestion and boosts your immune system. Bird's nest soup has been in the Chinese cuisine for 400 years. And it's still as popular and expensive as it was when it was discovered. The price for a bowl in Hong Kong ranges from $30 to $100. Number 5. Blowfish. Fugu, or pufferfish, has been eaten in Japanese cuisine for thousands of years. Even though the pufferfish is extremely toxic, people have enjoyed this fine delicacy throughout the centuries. Even if you're stung by one, the hazardous toxin tetrodotoxin (TTX) can cause a range of symptoms including numbness and tingling, weakness, difficulty in breathing, paralysis, or even death. There is no known antidote for the toxin, yet people have been eating fugu for longer than you can imagine. Archaeologists have found the bones of the puffer dating back to the Jomon period, which was 2,300 years ago. Back then there were no qualified fugu handlers, so they would be prepared incorrectly, unknowingly poisoning the ones who dined on the pufferfish. The fact that the fish continued to be prepared and eaten indicate that there was a food shortage. Through the process of error, eventually some people would learn how to cut out the toxins and serve fugu without causing uncomfortable symptoms or death. It's a delicacy today and one of the most celebrated dishes in Japanese and Korean cuisine, with special handlers that ensure fugu is prepared safely. The fugu handlers must go through at least 3 years of rigorous training before they are honored to prepare it in a high-end restaurant. Fugu is often prepared as a sashimi or nabemono. The liver, fugu kimo, was served as a traditional meal and was thought to be the tastiest part of the luxury fish. However, it's also the most poisonous part, so it's been banned in Japan since 1984. Accidental deaths may still occur in modern times occasionally due to domestic preparation. Number 6. Garam. Garam was a popular condiment during ancient Roman times. While it may sound like a nice dish, it's actually fermented fish, so the smell was extremely potent. Anchovy guts and other parts of the fish would be put in a clay pot with spices and herbs, which was then put into the sun. Slaves and laborers were in charge of processing garam as it was smelly, time-consuming, and complex. During the times of ancient Rome, garam had different grades, much like olive oil or balsamic vinegar. The grades and prices would depend on what fish was used and the concentration of the liquid. While the process of making garam has changed throughout the centuries, it is still used today. A modern equivalent is fish sauce, which is put on every table in Thailand today. Other cultures use fish sauce as well, especially in Asian cultures. It is used to give soups a more even, exotic taste, and is thrown in a variety of stir-fried meals in Southeast Asia. Number 7. Ambergris. Ambergris, also known as floating gold, was one of King Charles II's favourite dishes. It was called floating gold due to its golden hue and was often found floating in the ocean. Ambergris may sound lovely, but it's actually known as whale's vomit, despite the fact that it comes out of the other side of the whale. Ambergris is made in the digestive tracts of whales to surround hard squid beaks that can't be digested. This highly expensive product of the whale in its natural habitat was not only used for perfume, but also consumed by the wealthy. It was used in the ice cream process and Persian sherbets during ancient times. Persian sherbets were a drink prepared from fruit or flowers and had contained ambergris long ago. People still eat ambergris in moderation as it's quite rare and extremely expensive. The preparation today would involve a small accompaniment to a special dish by culinary geniuses and the super wealthy. The reasoning behind use of ambergris is the sweet smell it produces. Number 8. Dirt. Dirt has been eaten since prehistoric times. The name for the act of eating dirt is geophagia, and it was documented in early Greek and Roman texts, but it was believed to have begun much earlier than that. Psychiatrically, geophagia is classified as a form of pica. This is a term that derives from the Latin word for magpie, because the magpie will eat just about anything and doesn't discriminate. There are many reasons people ate dirt that go beyond the need to eat anything in sight. Some believed it would aid in stomach issues, create softer skin, improve skin tone, protect the mother and baby during pregnancy, and absorb toxins to prevent illness. Texts from the 16th and 17th centuries mention diaphagia, spoken about in relation to the occurrence of a type of anemia called green sickness. Today, the act of eating dirt still goes on for various reasons in South Africa, the United States, and many countries in tropical regions. Thanks for watching another show of History's Weirdest. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers!